Okay, good morning everyone. Welcome on this Friday, this notable Friday, not because of Brexit, but because it's the last in season 1 of Servium's INOOT webinar. So welcome everyone. Thank you for taking the time out today. So purpose of today's webinar is very much around cloud management, helping you on your sort of migration to the cloud or help you on your journey into the cloud, wherever you are. But we feel a more efficient way of managing cloud experience. So today we're joined by Exponential-e and Jonathan Bridges, who's our Chief Technology Officer. Morning, Jonathan. Thanks for joining us today.
Morning, Steve. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So just background for everyone, the purpose of these webinars really are to sort of explore some of the new technology, some of the vendors to watch, things that are sort of quite topical in the marketplace. So really to educate you and bring our customers up to speed on sort of new innovative tools, things that we think can a sort of disruptive technology can deliver massive sort of business advantage, sort of competitive advantage. So hopefully everyone's got their Kit Kats, everyone is registered early, put your feet up, relax. We will be taking questions and answers at the end of the webinar, so you'll get the opportunity to answer questions anonymously. And also, we'll be taking a poll as well, just to get some feedback. So, without further ado, we'll start the session off. And for me, just really giving a little bit of background and how this is relevant to you and where it sort of fits wherever you are on your cloud journey. Most of you know Servium, that we are very much a provider of essential IT solutions, and we put the customer at the center of everything we do. We believe we create a lot of value, and again, the INOOT webinar series is a key part of that value add. But along with our sort of superb account management, our great customer service, and I think from an account management point of view, we really want to walk in your shoes and understand, where you have business challenges. And make sure we're accessible, responsible, and easy to do business with. Our whole approach is very much, again, understanding your business challenge, no matter how small or large, and taking you on a journey from that initial strategy, helping with the design, implement, support. But the key thing for us really is the review process. Once we've implemented a solution, let's review, make sure it's hit the right mark, hit the spots, it's delivered within timescales, budget, and so on and so forth. So we believe the review part is a key differentiator. And we do that partly through our sort of relationships with you, our vendor agnostic approach, and then utilizing our services ecosystem to deliver that. And Exponential-e are one of our key partners, particularly in the cloud arena. So the ecosystem gives you access to a great breadth and depth of resource that's available for you. And from our sort of whole value proposition, the cloud hits many areas. It's very topical. We've had lots of discussions and done lots of work with customers around cloud journeys and so on. And we just think what Exponential have to offer here today with their cloud management platform is a great way of looking at different options in the cloud. So, Jonathan, I'm not going to take any more wind out your sails. You're the subject matter expert here today, so I'll hand over to you, and hopefully the tech works. That you're now in full control.
Thanks, Steve, and thank you for the introduction. Really appreciate it. So. Good morning, everybody. I'm John Bridges. I look after our portfolio at Exponential-e and spend the majority of my time working with customers and helping them really on their digital transformation journeys. I've been working in the IT industry for about 17 years, and the predominant part, the early part of my career, I spent heavily working in global system integrators, and it was an interesting time because back in 2007, really, the cloud started to become an emerge, and I remember building out my first business when I was at Fujitsu back then on it. So we're now 11, 12 years on from there, and we're in a very mature marketplace. Because that marketplace has now matured, we're moving away from this model where, people are talking about a particular cloud, or private cloud on premise, or the public cloud, or one of the two. And actually, we're finding that more and more customers are moving into a multi-cloud landscape where they're actually looking at their applications and working out where's the best place to deliver that. Whether that's obviously a SaaS-based solution, it may be that they want to completely move there, or it might be they want to refactor their applications and deliver them on a platform as service type of architecture, or it may be that they just want to move from off-premise data centers into the public cloud, or have a mix or a hybrid between the two. And what we found with that is that lots of customers then were having to look at how they could integrate or deliver these multiple technology stacks. So they might have some private cloud services on premise, they might have some Amazon, they might have some Azure, they might have some Google, whatever it may be. But actually the unification of those is very difficult. So what we have been focused on is building out what we call our CMP, or a cloud management platform, which is all basically designed around that. And what I just want to do is just take you through a bit of detail around that and just give you a bit of a visualization of that. So as I mentioned, the cloud management platform is a platform that allows you to unify your platforms. So hopefully you guys can all see, but as we're running through here, what you're able to do is connect in all of your cloud environments that you have. If you have an on-premise Microsoft SCVM environment, whether you have an on-premise VMware environment, whether you have Amazon, Azure, whatever it may be, you can connect all those public and private cloud services all together in one place. When you add those cloud services in, obviously what you can then start to do is to control the delivery of services across those. Or if you're in a position where you are currently using private cloud only, you can look at then starting to branch out and start to use the public cloud. Within the cloud management platform, you have lots of options, as you can imagine, that allow you to then control role-based access and governance around those. So for example, if you want to set policies around how much public cloud people can consume, if you want to have a look at setting lifecycle policies on infrastructure and provide it out to your marketing team or your database team, wherever it may be, you can control and set policies around the platform to control that. You can control things also like spend limits, which is obviously a big thing for a lot of organizations. They want to empower the business to not have a shadow IT type culture. They want to empower them to be able to do things, but they want to do it in a controlled manner where they can manage and control costs. As we sort of then go forward from there, one of the things then really that we want to focus in on is how we can increase automation. So within the IT landscape, and we're all looking for new ways to create efficiency and automation. And what the platform allows you to do is also build your own automation. Now, you may already have automation in place. You may be using things like Ansible or Chef or Puppet, or you might be using Terraform. If you're using those already, you can actually fully integrate the code you've already written into the platform and reuse all that automation. If you haven't done that and you want to build your own automation just using the CMP itself, it has a full built-in automation engine that you can see running in the background here. What that allows you to do is build out application architectures. When you build out those architectures, you can then decide where you want to deliver those. So if you've connected in multiple clouds, your private cloud, and you might have connected in a public cloud, what you're able to do through the platform is basically determine where each of those tiers lives. So it may make sense that your front-end web tier runs on AWS, and your back-end database tier you may want to run in your private cloud. Just in the middle of the screen, you can see the pound sign, very small at the moment. It might be a bit faint, just above where these credentials are going in. When you hover over that plan on that, it also gives you options so that you'll be able to see, if you picked it on AWS, for example, how much would this cost me to deliver the same thing on Azure? So it gives you those plan options that you can then control. Why this is important is that if you've got production environments or non-production environments, or you want to mirror your production environments into non-production environments, you can create those levels of automation so that you can simplify the delivery of those. That means then you can spin those environments up and down and take the benefit of, for example, the public cloud and its commercial spending model, such that you can have variable pricing for those things as they come. Added to that, you can start to think about how you can speed up and reduce the complexity of delivery in your environments. Through automation, we can reduce the operational cost and management of that. If you think about it as well, as you saw as it was building out those, it has a library of resources that you can use, and you can upload your own libraries into there as well. So if you have standard builds, for example, or you want to create standardization and hardening of your builds, you can hook them in together. So what we've seen so far is that if you imagine you've got a multi-cloud estate or a multi-infrastructure estate, you can see all that through one place, and then you can create that level of automation to control around that. Now, as you sort of move forward in that life cycle, as you can imagine, we're in a position now, as you can see sort of from the animation on the screen, where we've got the basket approach. So if we want to be an internal service provider, providing those capabilities to our internal customers, we can have that basket approach where we can deploy those services, automate the delivery of those, and then decide where they go and look at the controls and management around that. So we automatically have this kind of hybrid estate where we can actually see everything. And from a visualization perspective, what that allows you to do is then actually see everything that you have in one place. So if you have a look now, as we're sort of walking through this, has a very rich reporting engine that's built into the platform as well. So what you can see in here is that I can go and look at some inventory information, for example. I've just connected this up, for example, to one of my customers who has about 12 different locations, infrastructure in all those locations, and immediately they've connected up and they can see every piece of asset that they've got in every cloud that they've got worldwide through the platform. Once you're in there, obviously you can start to have a look at the optimization of those platforms. So for example, I might want to see the cost optimization. In this scenario, 56% of the spend that this customer is doing is in Amazon. And actually they may have looked at their platform themselves and said, well, actually we've got capacity spare on our private cloud, but we're spending all that money in Amazon. Imagine you've got a lot of shadow IT in the organization, or people have got Amazon or Azure platforms on their credit cards. You can immediately hook those into the platform and at least understand what's going on. Where the rubber really hits the road, though, is the inbuilt guidance and analytics tooling that's in the platform. What that allows you to do, for example, is it automatically will look at your environment and look at the optimization of the environment. For example, in this scenario, it's looking at some of the virtual machines that are in there, and it's saying that lots of them can be decreased on memory. It's got an automation built in, so if you then click on one of those and press the execute button on that, you can then execute that and reduce the memory immediately on that VM. If you imagine someone who's running public cloud, you can connect this environment directly into that, and immediately they're going to be able to see significant savings potentially by this engine itself. One of my customers plugged it in, and they immediately saw that they could make £6,000 or £8,000 savings a month because they had over-provisioned memory on all of their virtual machines. As I mentioned before, all of this has got inbuilt role-based access control within it. So obviously what you can then do is you can control the permissions of who can do what. It's also got built into it integrations, as you can see at the top on the tabs that are there. You can see some of these tabs, monitoring tool integration, so it can integrate into your existing monitoring tools. It's got its own inbuilt monitoring as well. Logging, it's got logging information that you can see with a full audit history in it. We, for example, take all of the logging data and put it into our SIEM system, so we have that, long-term security incident event management controls around the platform. And obviously it allows you to integrate things like backup. So it has integrations to multiple backup technologies that are out there within it. It's also got full integration into our object storage. And that's a very low cost mechanism for storing data, as well as using it as a, for non-production environments, using it as a target backup location. And it's great for storing your ISO images and those kind of things. So what the platform does, if you hook it all together, I'll just come back to this proof of value slide in a second. I'm just going to move forward one slide, is it gives you basically a single pane of glass for the service and all of your services. I'm working with one organization at the moment, and they've got 6 CIOs and then a master CIO, if you like. So they all work into another CIO. And they've got platforms all around the globe. Putting this in place immediately is going to allow them to be able to see all of their spend everywhere in the world on all of their platforms. But it doesn't have to be, obviously, like a worldwide service. We've got lots of customers, for example, who are only UK based, but are using a private infrastructure at the moment, but want to start using Amazon and Azure. So this is a very easy way to do that. Just linking to that, outside of the platform, we basically have some automations as well for making it very easy for people to novate. So if a customer wants to novate their Amazon subscription under what we call our CSP, our Cloud Service Provider Agreement with Amazon, or if they want to novate their Azure subscription in the same way, which has no financial, it doesn't cost the customer anything to do that, and it doesn't provide them any, it's not more expensive. In fact, there's opportunities for commercial optimization by doing that. What we're able to do is offer what we call our one bill system, and that means that you don't have to worry about owning that Azure or Amazon contract and the billing and all of that for it. You can have your bills all through one place and all in a consistent format. You can also log into what we call our Universal Portal, and within the Universal Portal, you can then see all of your accounts for Amazon and Azure in one place. You can click through on them and get all the billing information in detail. So if you want to do queries on the bills or understand all the bills, you can do that. And obviously, because Amazon and Azure always are releasing new services, and some of those services aren't infrastructure type services, they may be SaaS or PaaS, our one billing engine also goes directly into the AWS or Azure account and pulls out the full billing data for that account. So even if it's not something that appears in the CMP, for example, we can still get you all of the billing and control and manage the billing for you. You don't have to novate your accounts, you can just bind them. There's a simple mechanism to bind them in, so you can bind in your public cloud environments to it, and the bills will still come to you from Amazon and Azure. So you have options of how you do that. But the whole objective of this is to enable you as an internal service provider to have a much more effective way of delivering services in a multi-cloud world. It allows you to then obviously get things up and running in minutes rather than hours or weeks, as it may be in traditional environments. And the inbuilt analytics that's within the platform ensures that you can always be getting the best value for money. So if Amazon or Azure or someone else releases a new type of VM, which they do often, and it's a little bit smaller than the ones you're using, but it would fit your workloads better, you can immediately move to those and get that sort of cost saving. And traditionally, if you want to use a tool like that, you would get something like Identify or a Cloudability software, and you'd have to pay for that, and they'd take 2 or 3% of your revenue of your public cloud to charge you for that. And this is built in and free as part of the platform. We want to make it really easy for people to try it out, and we always think that that's the best way. What the process for that is, obviously if anyone is interested, that working with Steve, obviously, is we do what we call a proof of value. How that works is we do a deep dive WebEx. Obviously, I'm doing a quick summary, as we're doing here, of what the platform can do, and to try and hopefully highlight the significant value it can bring to your organization. But we do a deep dive with my head of engineering. He'll take you through all of the tabs, the detail, how it all works, all of those pieces underneath the covers. And then what we would do at the end of that WebEx session is we'd just do some scoping. We'd talk through the areas we've discussed with you in detail, and we'd work out what are the key things that you would like to test as part of your proof of value. What we then do is set you up a tenancy in the platform and hand it over to you. And you have a month to play on the platform and try it out and see if you like it, and try and see how, what the value will bring to your organization. And, when we come to that process, it's a very slick one, all automated and very simple to get you up and running. So that was my sort of whistle-stop tour, trying to keep obviously to the time of the session.
No, that's good, Jonathan. That's, to me, when we've been working with you and looking at the whole sort of cloud management platform and conversations that we have with customers, this to me it ticks so many boxes. Single pane of glass, sort of looking at efficiencies like you talk about, moving workloads maybe from AWS to Azure and being able to see the efficiencies and so on, optimizing and so on. So to me, as a not massively technical person, it seems a really sophisticated tool to enable customers to do that. So I think again, one of the reasons why we wanted to sort of host this with you guys is that we think this can deliver tremendous value and benefit to the customers. So what we'll do now, we'll take some questions. So you should be able to see a Q&A box at the bottom of your screen, everyone. So take some questions. There's a couple there that have come up already, John. So if I just go through these, if you don't mind, to sort of answering those. So for a question from James, how many cloud providers could it potentially have on this platform? I'm assuming that's public cloud providers, because obviously we talked about this being able to use for private and public clouds. So
at the moment, we've got Amazon and Azure available immediately. We can also enable Google, Alibaba. What we're trying to do is, as we become a CSP for each of these providers, what we're trying to do is open them up, but we have other customers who want a particular one. So the core ones at the moment are Amazon and Azure, Google and Alibaba. We can integrate into IBM Bluemix, which is their PaaS platform, and a few others. And I can give you perhaps I can give you a full list of them, but the core four, which are the fastest growing four, are the main ones. When it comes to private cloud infrastructures, if it's got, vCenter, it's got SCVMM, if it's got vCloud, we can pretty much integrate into any of those. We can integrate into some other bits like Oracle. We can integrate into some level of bare metal around Cisco, UCS and Dell. So we've got a lot of integrations.
Yeah. Okay, cool. That's great. Question from Paul in relation to existing accounts. So I already have AWS or Azure accounts. What can I see in relation to the billing data? So
if you from a billing perspective, you would be able to obviously see within the cloud platform so those VMs and the costs of those. If you used our one bill process, what we can then do is if you novate those in, we can give you a separate portal that will show the detailed billing data. So we have a separate detailed billing portal that you can see all the information in one place. It's like tiles, so you can click on a tile and then select it. And if you've got like 10, like lots of customers have multiple AWS or multiple Azure accounts, you can see them all as segregated ones. And it's a great question, because what you can then start to do is build out accounts per business unit or department, so you can understand the true cost of delivery of service to each of them.
Okay, cool. Question from Callum. In terms of new products, would you be looking to integrate with any new products that have a decent user base, i.e. a new backup software?
Yeah, so we've got the backup integration's got currently Veeam in there, it's got Commvault in there, it's got Rubrik in there, it's got Avamar in there. I'm trying to remember, there's a couple of others.
I think Zerto's in there as well.
Zerto's in there as well. Yeah. So from that perspective, some of the core ones are in there. What we can do though is, when we have requirements for customers who perhaps want something else, is we can have a look at that and see if it's a general use case, and if it is, then obviously we can add it in and add more backup integration into there. It's pretty cool, because some of the automation we're doing in the backup space, we're just about to do some new stuff on backup. There's going to be a load of virtualized options that you can just pull down. So it'll be very easy through the templates just to pull in like virtual additions of new backup technology that is going to give, very large compression and G-dupe ratios, between 16 and 50 to 1. Right. So that, for cost effectiveness, there's going to be some cool stuff coming this quarter.
Okay. Question from Alan in relation to got private cloud at the moment, nothing in the public cloud, sort of like AWS, Azure, Google, or whatever. But I've private cloud already and wanted to create pricing model for this. What are the options? How straightforward is it, John?
Yeah, so I mean, if you're in a situation where you had no intention of using the public cloud, for example, and you just wanted one private cloud, then the CMP would give you a level of value over that. But obviously, the value comes when you hook in multiple environments, multiple private clouds or private and public cloud. What we're doing with a lot of our customers is exactly sort of to that. Alan's question was, within the tool you can create your own tariffs. So what we're doing with some of our private cloud customers at the moment is we are re-commercializing their investment on their private cloud into a tariff structure for their vCPU, VRAM and storage in the same way as the public cloud. And then what they're doing is they're creating their own sort of t-shirts, if you like, for those, to match the sort of public cloud sort of t-shirt strategy. And what that means is that they, in the tool, then yes, you're completely right, Alan, in your assertion, they can have a chargeback model for private cloud as well. So they can have when someone goes, I want to deploy this new workload, they'll have connection, for example, for Amazon or Azure in there, as well as their private cloud. They can basically see, well, if I was to run this on SQL Server or my existing infrastructure, it would cost me £250 per month, whereas if I run it on Amazon, it costs me 280. So yes, they can create their own custom tariffs on that, and we can, as a cloud service provider who has our own multi-tenant cloud, we're used to building those cost models, so we can support customers in building those tariff structures if that's something they want to do on their private cloud.
Yeah, I think that's good to me as well. You've got a multi-cloud environment, whether it's a mixture of private cloud, AWS, and Azure, and Google, and even Alibaba. But having that sort of aggregated environment again can deliver efficiency, can't it?
It can, and it's really key because the private cloud isn't going away. I mean, I look at my last 60 plus transformation projects. 38% of them, 48% of them, apologies, still have a private component to them. And we are currently deploying lots of hyper-converged appliances at the moment, so moving away from traditional buying servers, buying storage, and buying switching and fabric to delivering hyper-converged solutions, because people are using that to get some efficiencies of tech refresh in their own data center in parallel to moving certain apps out to SaaS, certain apps out to public cloud. And we've got a turnkey solution to support that for private cloud that goes hand in hand with the CMP. So yeah, you're completely right. It's a key model for the market at the moment.
Okay, cool. Thanks. So I've got, I think, probably the last question now, again from Callum. So do you have the ability to look in detail at reserved instances on Azure? And would you be able to manage these from the dashboard?
Yeah, so the reserved instances is an interesting one, because for service providers like ourselves, the reserved instances were only introduced on Azure not long ago. But the reality is, if it's listed in the catalog under VMs, then yeah, we can do it, and we can pull that information through. So yeah, so if a customer wants to have reserved instances and take the benefit of that, yeah, we can work on that. And as a CSP, we can help you with that and provide that through our CSP subscription ourselves. It's very simple to novate that under our CSP as well. It doesn't cost you anything to do it. And obviously, when you take that and the CMP together, you get that single pane of glass to deliver that, and you're on-prem. Yeah. But yeah, you can bind it as well. So yeah, we can do that and deliver those reserved instances as you need. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, that's great. So I think that's the questions for now. Thanks for taking those on, Jonathan. So what I'm going to do now, just to sort of wrap up, I'm just going to launch a poll now. So if everyone wouldn't mind sort of just going through and completing that just while I sort of summarize and close. But in essence, what we've got to provide a sort of a follow-up to this, anyone who's interested, we can provide a proof of value trial, and that's for 30 days, isn't it?
Yes, it is,
Jonathan. Yeah. So as you explained that slide there, a previous slide. So anyone's interested, please highlight that on the poll, and we will sort of follow up and arrange that with the sort of next stage of sort of one-on-one webinar and so on and so forth. So please indicate that it's free of charge, but again, it really does demonstrate the proof of value of that sort of single pane of glass.
And Steve, just on that with the proof of value stuff, one last point on that is feel free, guys, to do the workshop, the deep dive as a next step, and then at the end of that, decide whether you want to go ahead with the month trial. We just, Steve said it, when you get on the deep dive, it will really give you every nook and cranny, so it will really, help you with your thoughts on how you can maximize it in your environment.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's good. Yeah, that's great. And again, I think the whole concept of proof of value rather than a proof of concept, if you like, is quite a different way to approach this. So
yes, absolutely, fully success based. So what we're looking to find exactly what you want to work in the real world, and then help you prove the value of that through the process, and make sure it all works for you.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. So thanks for making that. Putting that on the table for everyone who's joined us today. So there will be a recording of this webinar that I'll issue later on today, and also we will, in a couple of weeks' time, we will load this up onto our YouTube site. So again, if you want to share it with any of your colleagues, if anyone missed it, wasn't able to join us today, then there is a recording available. So that'll be, like I say, issued later today. So Jonathan, I really appreciate you taking the time out today to deliver the webinar for us. I think it's really demonstrated some great value around what you have to offer. And I think, again, anyone who's my experience talking to people in the cloud, costs get out of control. So this is a great way of potentially driving some efficiency, isn't it? So hopefully people have seen the sort of high level of that. So the poll's still running. If you wouldn't mind completing it, everyone, I really appreciate that. I know we haven't gone into a massive amount of detail. We're all we're limited for time. We like to keep our INOOT webinars short and sweet, and give you enough information, hopefully, to whet your appetite. So so thanks again, Jonathan.
My pleasure.
Everyone who's joined on this Friday, really appreciate taking your time out. This is the last in season 1. So it's a season 1 finale. So we're going out with a bang, hopefully. So thank you, everyone. And enjoy the rest of your Friday. But don't forget, British summertime ends at the weekend. Or British summertime starts, at the weekend. So don't forget, clocks forward on Sunday morning. So thanks, everyone, and have a great Friday. Thank you.